Have you ever been driving late at night, scanning through the radio dial, and stumbled upon something strange? Something that wasn't supposed to be there. Tonight, we're tuning into a frequency that defies explanation, a station that seems to broadcast from beyond the veil. This is the story of Echoes in the Static, the radio station that allegedly only broadcasts the voices of the dead. Our story begins in the sprawling, desolate landscapes of the American Southwest. For decades, truckers, late-night travelers, and locals have shared whispers of a mysterious radio signal. It appears without warning, often between the standard FM frequencies, usually late at night when the world is quiet. It's not a pirate radio station playing old music or a college station with a weak signal. No, this is something entirely different. The broadcast consists of nothing but voices. Sometimes it's a single voice, sometimes a chorus, speaking, whispering, or even singing fragments of sentences. The first documented accounts date back to the late 1970s. A long-haul trucker named Roy, traveling through a remote stretch of Arizona, wrote in his logbook about a station he picked up around 3 a.m. He described hearing what sounded like a child humming a nursery rhyme, followed by a woman's voice softly saying, "I'm coming home, dear." The signal was crystal clear for about 5 minutes, then dissolved into static as suddenly as it had appeared. Roy was so shaken he pulled over at the next truck stop and asked other drivers if they'd heard it. A few nodded, sharing their own similar, unsettling experiences. This is the common thread in all the stories. The voices are never a conversation. They're like audio snapshots, fragments of moments frozen in time. People have reported hearing everything from a man listing off what sounds like a grocery list, to a woman laughing, to the faint sound of a party, all overlaid with a persistent, endless static. The voices sound old, as if recorded on vintage equipment. Yet they possess a clarity and presence that sends a chill down your spine. Over the years, a community of enthusiasts and paranormal investigators has grown around this phenomenon. They call themselves static listeners. Armed with sophisticated radio equipment, they venture into the desert, chasing this phantom signal. They've managed to record snippets of the broadcasts, and what they've captured is truly fascinating. One of the most famous recordings, known as the Lighthouse Keeper, features a man with a gravelly voice saying, "The light is out. The sea is angry tonight. May God have mercy on their souls." Through meticulous research, investigators traced this phrase to the final log entry of a lighthouse keeper who vanished during a storm off the coast of Maine in 1923. How could his voice be on a radio signal in the Arizona desert a century later? Another recording captured a young woman's voice, tinged with a slight European accent, saying, "The stars are so bright from the deck. I wish you could see this, Mama." Listeners have speculated this could be a passenger from a transatlantic voyage, perhaps even from a famous shipwreck, sharing a final, peaceful thought. The recordings are filled with these deeply personal, often mundane, yet poignant last words. It's as if the station is a repository for final thoughts, a library of goodbyes. Skeptics, of course, have offered numerous explanations. The most common theory is signal bounce, or tropospheric ducting, where radio waves from distant stations are refracted by the atmosphere and can travel hundreds, even thousands of miles. This could explain picking up fragments of old radio dramas, family recordings, or other broadcasts. It's a plausible explanation. It could be a collage of random radio detritus, a coincidental muddle of the airwaves. However, this theory doesn't quite hold up for the static listeners. They point out a few key inconsistencies. First, the signal is too consistent in its inconsistency. It always appears in the same general geographic area, and its content is always the same. Disembodied voices, never music or full programs. Second, some of the phrases recorded, like the Lighthouse Keeper, predate the era of widespread radio broadcasting, making it unlikely they were ever transmitted in the first place. Another, more elaborate theory is that it's all an elaborate art project, or a long-running hoax. Perhaps someone with a powerful transmitter is broadcasting these pre-recorded clips as a form of auditory guerrilla art. It's an intriguing idea, but it would require an incredible amount of dedication and resources to maintain for over 50 years. Without ever being caught or taking credit, the sheer geographic range and elusiveness of the signal make a single-source hoax seem improbable. So, this leaves us with the more speculative, paranormal explanations. Is this a genuine electronic voice phenomenon, or EVP, on a massive scale? EVP is the idea that spirits can manipulate electronic devices to create audible messages. Could the unique atmospheric conditions of the desert, combined with the vast emptiness, be acting as a giant antenna, picking up echoes of lives once lived? Some theorists delve even deeper into the realm of quantum physics. They propose the idea of stone tape theory, but for radio waves. The theory suggests that strong emotional events can imprint themselves onto the environment, like a recording. Perhaps these powerful, final moments of life are imprinted onto the very fabric of the airwaves, replaying themselves when atmospheric conditions are just right. The static, in this view, isn't just noise. It's the medium, the canvas upon which these vocal ghosts are painted. One of the most compelling stories comes from a static listener named Elena. In 2018, she was parked in the desert with her equipment when she picked up the signal. She heard a man's voice, clear as day, say, "Tell Sarah I love her." I always loved her. The voice was unremarkable, but for Elena, it was everything. 20 years earlier, her grandfather had passed away suddenly. His name was Michael, and her grandmother's name was Sarah. He had never gotten the chance to say a proper goodbye. Elena swears the voice she heard that night was her grandfather's. Coincidence? Wishful thinking? Or a message that finally found its way home after 2 decades, carried on a wave of static? The station has no call sign, no schedule, and no earthly origin that anyone can pinpoint. It's a radio station for no one and everyone. It doesn't ask for anything. It simply is a river of voices flowing through the night. A reminder that every life, no matter how brief, leaves an echo. Whether it's a natural phenomenon, a complex hoax, or a genuine window into another realm. The mystery of echoes and the static continues to haunt the lonely highways of the American Southwest. It forces us to wonder, if you were to leave one final echo, one last fragment of your voice on the airwaves, what would you say? The next time you're on a lonely road, far from the city lights, maybe turn the dial. You might just hear. More than static, you might just hear an echo. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had a strange experience with a radio. Until next time, stay curious.